Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. Today, we have Animesh Thakkar back from the Football Pundits with Vishesh and Rishi, and we are in third place, but we're going to take a hard look at how this season has been in its entirety. So, let's get straight into it. Animesh, coming into the season, we sold the likes of Lukaku, we sent Sanchez out on loan. A lot of the big players were gone. This is probably the most inexperienced squad that has taken field at the beginning. So, what were you expecting going into the season?
So honestly, when we started the season, I had less optimism. I did feel that Ole maybe made a mistake letting go of not Sanchez, at least Lukaku, before finding a replacement. Because at that time, you felt Mason Greenwood was pipped to be what you see now end product in the last 1 month. Rashford was coming off bad form from the last season, and because of the way Mourinho played him, Martial was blowing hot and cold, and he has been since he's been with us for almost 5 years now, right? So the worry was always there. So I thought if we get fourth, it will be great. If we get a cup with fourth, is what I wanted. At that time, I was like, we need to win the FA Cup. We need to win the FA Cup. And if you go back to last 2 weeks back, and I said, the FA Cup's not important, I contradicted myself and obviously completely paltered on my expectation, but that's because things changed. So in the start, if you told me we got fourth and a cup, I'd be like, job well done. Give Ole the money in the summer with that squad. I felt though Ole made a mistake letting Lukaku go, and I was not too happy. I was starting to doubt him a little bit. Not Ole out, but that doubt was like, let's say if in the summer after the end of last season, the doubt was 60%. The doubt was 20%. It became 30%.
Hmm. I think that's a very valid point because it was a thin squad, and then Rishi going into the season further, more and more injuries started creeping in. We lost Paul Pogba very early, and if it wasn't for the lockdown, he wouldn't have come back to play. We lost Eric Bailly, we didn't have a replacement centre back. We lost a lot of players, Martial, Rashford, alternatively. So, how do you think that impacted the squad, and what were your sort of feelings at going into those kind of things?
The best analogy I can come up with was the way United started the season was like the Tesla stock. We were one tweet or one injury away from absolutely crashing. And
Yep.
adding on to that, I think at the end of last season, Ole had specified a lot about how he needs the summer. He needs the summer break to work on fitness, which we could see at the end of last season. The players were absolutely drained. They had no intensity to put pressure on. And I was optimistic because I thought that this summer will actually help players adapt to the attacking style that United are used to playing after the change from Mourinho. But at the start of the season, I was honestly shocked, not because we were pressing or playing with that intensity, simply because the results were coming our way. Personally, the first game as well, Chelsea, I don't think we had such a great game. I think it was more Chelsea having a bad game and we just capitalizing on that bad game. So that's what I was saying. I was more shocked at the start of the season rather than knowing where we actually are. But as the season evolved, I think Ole's tactics evolved as well. He too realized that his squad is very thin and he does need someone. And I think that's when the hype for Bruno started building up as well. And frankly speaking, I think that was one of the best buys because he filled in a lot of missing gaps that we had in the team. So I think overall, at the start of the season, like I said, I was very shocked. But as the season progressed, those few doubts kept going away. But again, when the injuries came back, I was again in like okay, are things going right? But then once Bruno came in, I think we were solid in sense of that, okay, now we have a direction at least. We are moving towards something. So overall, this season has been quite a roller coaster. And frankly, I had spoken about this in my review as well. I think we need the Europa League to solidify what this team is, to prove that this system works. And not only does that this system work, but the players who are involved in it are willing to play for that system. And Ole
Mm-hmm.
has fundamentally and technically improved throughout the season. If you noticed, we started with the 3-5-2 and we quickly adapted to a 4-3-3 with the high press, which really worked well for us at the start of lockdown. And obviously, we were susceptible to the press as we saw in the last 4 games. So that's why I want to see in the Europa League whether we can actually prove ourselves, prove it to ourselves that yes, we believe in the methods and we believe in what we're doing. So that's why I believe Europa League is very, very important. And I want the team to go all out for this.
I think Rishi, you've mentioned one
Rashford,
person's. Yeah, yeah.
sorry, I wanted to add something. it is important to note that in the start of the season, when Ole did the clear up, he said, I'm going to clear the deadwood. And he took out Darmian as well. We'll let these players go eventually by January, right? He was let down by the board. I don't think Ole expected to go in with this thinner squad. I think that is us assuming he's that naive, or people call him the PE teacher. All of that has come out assuming that he was. I don't think he expected Bruno not to be finalized in the summer. The reason why he will let go of two players, knowing that there's someone to come and take their place, right? So I think the board let him down. I remember there's a talk about Eriksen coming to United and Bruno going to Tottenham because he wanted Tottenham more appealing at that time, right? The way it was last year. And we all knew where we were. That comes to the point that I don't think the board was sure about him either. The board were like, you know what? If he crashes and burns by January and we are so far off, we probably let him go. I think that's where the board was secretly not spending money. So from there to now, like Rishi said, roller coaster for sure.
I think Annie and Rishi have both brought up a name multiple times. And before I do a little bit more about what happened before he came in, Vishesh, I want to come to you and ask about what Bruno Fernandes has meant to this club and what has his impact been.
I mean, I just want to point out one thing before. We've been mentioning the likes of Sanchez and Lukaku. There's another name that went missing, that was Herrera. And the only people that we filled in was the defense, and Dan James came in attack. So there was nothing that we did in our midfield, which was anyways weak, and we let go of Herrera and Fellaini and brought in no one. So Bruno has actually fixed that missing puzzle that there is. So, I mean, since we've qualified, there have been stats that have been thrown here and there. And let me tell you, since Bruno has come in the 14 games that we've played, we topped the league with most points, 32 points. It just goes to show the involvement and, you know, the presence he's had in that midfield. He has a 76% pass accuracy, 13.3 misplaced passes. That just shows that he keeps kicking the ball left, right, and center. But when he makes the correct pass, it leads to a goal. He's the first player to be involved in, like, I think 13 goals in his first 10 games when he's come in. And this season he has 18 goals plus assists for United. And that's just over, 4 months. That shows character. He's the one who's creating the chances for United. Pogba has settled in well with him. Martial, Rashford are creating a combination. There's something about him that has lifted the whole squad, and he's been the next signing, I would say, that's had an impact like Cantona did back in the day.
I think that's a very big comparison made by Vishesh there to the king himself. But Annie, let me come back to you, just backpedaling from Bruno one step back. When we were in that period, there were massive inconsistencies. We'd go and beat City, we'd go and beat Spurs, and then we'd lose 3-0 to Watford. Like, it was unbearable as a United fan. You were not sure what to expect. So do you think Bruno's arrival, we're reliant on too much on one player? And do you think some of the fragilities in the team that were there before are yet there? Because there were no goals at that point in the team. There was no creativity. So do you think even now we are over-reliant on one player? And what do you have to say about that period of inconsistency?
100%. We are very reliant on Bruno. You could tell in the last 3 games when he was running ragged and he was so tired, the whole creativity of the team dropped. That should tell you that that's that one player who's a catalyst, who's not just with his passing, but with his words, motivating people around him and bringing them up. And when he was too tired, the morale and the enthusiasm and the quickness in our play, everything dropped. Coming back from that, moving from January and going back to 2019, and yeah, we've lost to Burnley, we lost to West Ham, we lost to Watford 3-0. I know that's again going into the De Gea territory, and that's something I want to touch upon. It also came with the fact that De Gea was having his worst spell at United. It started then, right? That should tell you that clearly it was a belief in that squad. That belief wasn't there with the manager, or they were disillusioned because they didn't know what was happening. Ashley Young was our captain. Let's not forget Ashley Young was our captain. Everyone, I think, has forgotten about that. He left in January, right? If I'm not mistaken, end of January. I don't know when he left, around now. So if you look at the squad, the way it started off with Ashley Young, left back, captain. If I was there, I would also be disillusioned, right? So that trickled down into the whole team. Martial, anyway, someone who's been very susceptible to pressure from the media, like Vishesh said. Rishi also said the media, it's very important. Rashford was too much. He was always doing too much because he knew it was on him. He didn't trust anybody else because Pogba was injured already. Greenwood was too young. Greenwood was coming in for 4 or 5 minutes for the first 10 games, I remember. And I'm like, what are you doing, Ole? Ole was very off his substitutions. He couldn't make a change at the right time. to save his life. He got Greenwood for the first 15 games. He's scored against Everton, I think, and he scored against City when he came on. At, not City, I'm trying to remember the first 2 games. And that should tell you that the manager himself didn't know how to play his squad. He didn't know how to change his team around. But he took time. He's like, okay, I've got this in January. When before the signing came, we were at our worst. But he knew he needed one signing. He knew it was just that one signing away to change it. So coming back to Bruno now, yes, that is the problem though, right? The one signing is made all the difference. So that one signing, he goes off, he goes missing. Does this squad as it is have it in them to keep winning? I do not think so. And I'm not criticizing Paul Pogba or De Gea's mistakes. Maguire is a great leader. He's played 38 games this year. Lindelof himself has only missed in 3 games, right? Bailly has only played 1 game in the Premier League this year. Started 1 game, subbed on for 2 or 3 games. That should tell you how thin the defense is. Forget the whole squad, right? So we need at least 3 players in the side in the transfer market, irrespective of position. We need 3 additions anywhere to add depth. We need depth. And then I'll come to meaningful depth. That is so even different. We just need 3 squad players, firstly.
So I think,
Prasham, I'd like to add to what Animesh said, because I think what he's trying to say in a nutshell is what this season has taught us as United fans is just how poor our bench is. There is no tactical diversity on our bench. Under Mourinho, at least we had Fellaini to come on and punt the ball too. We have Igalo coming on, but I feel he's a bit like Lukaku, in which he's not the target man that we were hoping he would be. And so this is something that we really need to reflect upon and have at least 2 players who bring some tactical diversity to this team. We can't, like you mentioned in your reviews and previews, we can't go every game playing from the back. Sometimes I agree we do need to punt the ball a bit. The last minute punt has always been helpful to United. So that's been a big lesson for us this season.
But having said all of that, Rishi, I want to also ask you one more thing, that about the laxness of the defense. We've spoken about a lot about that. But to be fair, City, we've conceded 36 goals. There are only 2 teams that have conceded fewer goals than us. Liverpool 33, City 35. In terms of clean sheets, Ederson got 16, Nick Pope got 15, David De Gea is third with 13 clean sheets. So objectively looking at it, how much of a difference has Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka made? Because we've conceded 18 fewer goals in the Premier League this season. So how much of an difference have they made? And has David De Gea been as bad as we've made him out to be? Because he has got 13 clean sheets at the end of the day.
Prashant, there are 2 aspects to this. The first aspect is, let's face it, this season the midfield has really worked their asses off. So I think they deserve credit for these clean sheets as well. If you see Matic, the amount of distance he covers trying to cut spaces and intercept the passes, he is responsible for the first line of defense. Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are the last line, and that's how it's supposed to be. But if you look at our analysis of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, which I'm sure is going to be uploaded soon, we do touch upon how big of an improvement he has been defensively to United. As for Harry Maguire, I think I'll disagree a little bit with Animesh. I don't think he's captain worthy for United yet. I still feel he can bring much more to this team in terms of responsibility and experience. But that being said, yes, Harry Maguire was one defender who we needed for consistency, and he has proved that this season. Yes, his consistency might not be on par with someone like Virgil van Dijk, who has put in work in, work out, and got goals. But he has a lot of potential to get there. And I'm sure Ole knows this, and he's going to build with Harry Maguire in mind. And that's what we need.
So I think we've touched upon the defense. Vishesh, let me throw it to you for the strikers. We have scored more our front 3, considering Mason Greenwood's not been that much of a part of the front 3 at all. He's combined the front 3 have gotten more goals than Liverpool's front 3. We're in top 5 of Europe's goal scoring in the front 3. In terms of age to goals, we are the best when it comes to that. Rashford was absolutely killing it, as Animesh said, when no one was there. Martial turned it up after lockdown, and Mason Greenwood is some godsend gift for Manchester United. So what do you have to say about the way this front 3 is combining and how each one has improved or picked up responsibility in this season?
It goes down to the fact that we mentioned in the start, right? With Lukaku going out, with Sanchez going out, we knew that the front 3 had to do an amazing job. We have no idea who Dan James is when the season starts. And we need to give that guy credit as well, because when he came in, he did the job in the start of the season. He did produce that goal against Southampton. He did it against Chelsea. So he's done his work for what we bought him. Coming down to these three players, I want to make a point that we're talking about Rashford, we're talking about Martial, but these people were injured. There was a lot of time where they didn't play together. When Martial was injured, Rashford was taking the load. When Rashford got injured, Martial came in. So if we look at the stats, I'm not sure about the number, but Martial and Rashford have combined done a better job than Dwight York back in the day. So that just shows the impact that we're having from an attacking perspective. I think Ole is sitting with them for every training session and showing them how to hold the ball and how to, the fact where he mentioned that I want my strikers to score those sloppy goals. We only score those fancy goals. We look at Martial, the game against Sheffield. There were 2 goals within the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
You look at Rashford, the one against Crystal Palace. Again, that was within the 6-yard box. It was a cut to the other side and then in. It's only Greenwood who's now scoring those fancy out-of-the-box shots. So we need to look at the improvement within the players as well. And I think not Rashford, but Martial has come a long way this season.
I think I have to completely agree with you. Just going towards the close, I want to throw a question to Rishi here. That we kept talking about how Ole keeps talking about this culture he's trying to build and this abstract United philosophy that he's trying to get in. Midway through the season, when the January transfer window starts, what were your thoughts about that then? And do you think he's achieved that culture and that philosophy, at least to some extent, going to the end of the season?
Like I said at the start, where Ole had said he wants to bring the fitness back to United. And that's one of the basic essentials to building a strong team. Your team needs to be fit. Now, towards December, Prasham, I think you and me both spoke a lot about this, was Ole didn't keep his promise. Our players were injured. They didn't have the press in them anymore. They would press only for 20 minutes and they were out. Okay. So in December and Jan, I'm not going to lie, I was on the Ole out bandwagon. I was frustrated because I felt lied to. But after lockdown, like Vishesh mentioned, the improvement I saw in Martial was the indication that I needed, that Ole has genuinely had an impact, not on the team as a whole, but individually on these players, that when they come together has an impact on the team. And we have seen that in the change in play style that we've had. I had asked this question at the start of our preview for the last game, whether United have fundamentally and technically changed. Yes, we have fundamentally and technically changed. There is a long way to go, but Ole has done what he had promised, and that was bring back that culture where the players are improving themselves, and that reflects in the team. The competition between Rashford and Martial was such a pleasant sight to behold. Honestly, it was one of the best moments of the season where Rashford would score and then Martial was like, no, I'm not having none of this. And then he would also go and score. And that's the United culture. And I'm honestly going to say that, yes, he has brought it about. There is a long way to go, but this is a start, definitely a start.
Right. Annie, let me throw that a little bit to you and add to that about his man management skills. Because I was absolutely appalled when he brought on Marcus Rashford to play, when Marcus Rashford couldn't even sit, and then came out and said that, Marcus wanted to play, so I got him out there to play. Because I was absolutely appalled. I was like, that's a career-ending move right there. So what do you think about Ole's man management and his overall performance? And what is your biggest takeaway from this season? The biggest positive/negative from this season?
Right. So in terms of his man management is one of the things I've actually always given him credit for. He's his opposite of Jose Mourinho, right? He doesn't come out and criticize anybody, not his players for any of the mistakes. He doesn't even criticize his staff, about the medics. When you know that even your medical staff, what are you up to? Are you telling me that you didn't know how severe his injury was? That's a good thing, that he knew how to handle the criticism and he absorbed it. He's like, I am the manager. I will absorb this and not let it go to my team. This ends over here with me once I get up and move out of the conference. I think that's a big plus of the kind of guy that he is, right? But yes, when you say that, your player's injured, like, Rooney was under for Alex Ferguson, right? So Alex Ferguson benched him when he knew he wasn't fully ready. Or he would bench him to rile him up to get a performance out of him, right? I feel that Ole has a long way to go, so it's unfair to compare him to those standards. He has been a manager technically for 10 years, though. It's worth noting. Unlike Lampard, who's been around for 2 years, Ole has been a manager in Norway since 2011 now. So that's somewhere where I'm a little disappointed with him. Like you said, that he needed to handle that a little better. It was a little amateur, right? But I credit him that he understands his squad now. The fact that he's on top of this, the players trust him. So where we saw Dea making those errors, the disillusionment in the squad, he himself turned it around in January and build a relationship with every player. You can make out by the way they greet him down the touchline and the way they did back in November. The body language has changed with the players and the manager, one-on-one with every player. That change happens only when you genuinely believe in the manager, right? And coming into a positive for the season. So I told you yesterday in the video as well, Prasham, I would rate him overall 7 on 10 for Ole. Because if you asked me where we were last year was a 5 on 10. This year I said if I wanted him to change things around, get us top 4. Obviously, we were not going to challenge for the title. And get us a good signing or two. And get the counter-attacking United football back, which he has. Yes, it came only in the last 2-3 months. But when you are playing for 3rd and 4th and 5th and not top 2, it does tend to go on to the last day like this. That's where we are right now. I would make it a 9 on 10 if he wins a trophy for us. Europa is still possible, right? So the biggest positive for me is our return to that building from the back. If you've noticed that Ole is trying to build from the back actually. Yeah, the focus is on the forward 3 emergence of Greenwood. But clearly he went all out in defense for a reason. You know, under Ferguson, you learn this under the best managers in world football. You build a spine from the back. You take a goalkeeper, you take a world-class centre back, you take a world-class holding midfielder, and then you have a good striker. What we used to have earlier was Rooney. You had Hargreaves. He was desperate for Hargreaves for years, right? You got Hargreaves. You had Vidic on the back, either of them, and you had Van der Sar. And then everyone played off them. Ronaldo was playing off Rooney. Ronaldo could do whatever he wanted to do because Rooney did all the hard work. So he built Maguire, a captain, a leader. He kept Matic around, but he was trying to also build McTominay up to be that guy, right? He wasn't sure himself. Herrera could have been that, but whatever. Bygones be bygones. So my biggest positive is our defense, building from the back, the spine. That spine he's trying to build. Drawback would still be his tactics. His tactics. Okay, yesterday's game against Leicester, 2-0. We were terrible all game, but we saw the game out. That's how you win titles. That's how you win those games, right? So fair play. But if we saw more of that in even 3 more games this season, we wouldn't be in this place on the last day needing a win to be in the top 4, right? That hurts a little bit. Tactically, he can be better. More of what we saw yesterday will make me believe him more. I am 90% more confident in him right now. I still have a 10% doubt only because I still feel reactively as a manager. I don't want us in the Champions League next year to make it to the round of 16 and be knocked out by Barcelona. I want us to go to play Barcelona and demolish Barcelona. I don't know if we're there yet.
Right. So one final thought, Vishesh. We've seen the pictures coming out from the squad. We look at the players' Instagrams. You look at all of that. As Annie said, there's a happy feeling in the squad, which has not been there since a long time. So going forward, how would you rate? How excited are you building up? And what are the key positives you take? One positive that you take moving forward?
Rasham, I just think that the biggest positive is progress. Like if you look at any other of our previous managers, you look at Mourinho, for example. He won us the Europa League. He won us the 2 different cups. He did all of that. And in the second season, he got us second, but it didn't feel like it was the United that's playing, right? I mean, we would go to Anfield, we would go to Etihad, and we would play for a draw. You look at it today, we're one of the best in the top 6 to get points from the other top 6 teams. We're attacking them. We're pressing them. That's the biggest plus that I see, that we want to win those games. We aren't going out there to draw. Yeah, we were technically the Robin Hood of the league by losing to, Norwich and not Norwich, sorry, Watford and West Ham and so on and so forth. But that's the biggest takeaway from this league, is that there's progress. So let's say next season we still finish 3rd, but we comfortably finish 3rd and we're challenging other teams. I'll still take that as progress. I wouldn't say that that's a step back. So that's the biggest plus for me. And definitely, as Annie said, the squad looks really happy. The body language has changed. De Gea makes mistakes. It's not like players are, going out and saying, well, De Gea's horrible. Because if you remember the game against Newcastle, which we lost, De Gea went after the game and said, we can't score goals. I don't know what's wrong with our front 3. So that just shows the bond has increased within the players, not to blame one another, and to come out in a positive way.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, guys, you've heard it from us. You've heard it from Annie from Football Pundits, what we think of this season. I think it's been a very realistic review of where we were, where we went, and where we finished. And as you all can see, our expectations changed throughout the season. And we're obviously very happy that we finished in 3rd spot. And as Vishesh said, as Annie said, that the biggest positive is the sort of happiness that there is in the team and the progress there has been. Obviously, there are a lot of things to work on. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't have been in this position had Ole seen the other games out. If De Gea doesn't make that mistake against Everton or Watford, we don't go into this position. But again, that is for something to build on to next season. So guys, we are happy that we finished third. This is not the end of the journey. This is just the beginning. And here, this is like the most realistic review we could have given y'all. Do watch out our tactical analysis on the front three and on the midfield. There are more videos coming in terms of the keeper, the right back, and things like that for a more in-depth analysis of that. So subscribe to the channel, check out Football Pundits, and thanks for watching this video.
Thank you. See you guys.